President Daniel Toroitich arap Moi was Kenya's last president to have the powers to remove his own deputy at will. But with the look of things currently, President William Samoei Ruto has succeeded in removing his own deputy despite the constraints contemplated in the 2010 constitution. And this is because President William Samoei Ruto orchestrated an impeachment motion against his own deputy, and with the look of things currently, his own deputy is seeking justice in the chambers of the court. Ruto has already gone against the 2010 constitution, and this should be an eye-opener to Kenyans, simply because if they're not going to question President William Samoei Ruto, he may decide to go a notch higher, of going to an extent of using his errand boys like Samson Cherargei and Oscar Sudi to go ahead and rep the constitution. And this is in the context that as of the time of this broadcast, we are all alive to the fact that there is a bill in parliament that is seeking a term extension for all the elected members, right from MCAs, senators, governors to the president. And that is to mean that there will be a term extension right from 5-year term to 7 years term. And how I wish that Kenyans should just wake up and reject term extension in its totality. And as I've always said it times above numbers, that President William Samoei Ruto is a very smart politician, but not a leader, unlike his predecessor, the former president Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, to whom was a leader but not a politician. And as of the look of things currently, President Ruto has already achieved absolute power as far as the politics of this country is concerned. And how has he achieved absolute power? It is simply due to the fact that he is currently running the government in a one-man show style, of which one among the many blunders that President William Samoei Ruto did is to enter into a broad-based government with the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. He is currently into Raila's debt. How I wish that, if at all by coincidence that there happens to be a little misunderstanding, I kid you not, the fallout is going to be very detrimental to President Ruto's government and progress in his own administration. But one thing that I love about President William Samoei Ruto is that he plans his next course of action earlier enough. And if I can just draw you some flashback, remember, President William Samoei Ruto planned his 2022 candidature as early as in 2013. And that is how he was able to beat the system, because he had planned of it earlier enough, exactly the same way he orchestrated and planned for his deputy's impeachment since way back, even before his own deputy could have noticed. Should I go to an extent of reminding you of how President William Samoei Ruto systematically planned of how all senior Kalenjin leaders were never re-elected back to office in 2013. And that is the exact time that people like Franklin Bett and Kina Henry Kosgei were kicked out of the Rift Valley politics, because by then they were the old guards to whom they were the key determinant and the key leaders of the Rift Valley region. And President Ruto, being smart enough, he made sure that all the old guards were never re-elected, so that he would remain the only de facto leader in the region. And he went a notch higher of using the same strategy even in Mount Kenya. Remember, that is exactly the same time that people like Kabando, kina Martha Karua, and the people like Jeremiah Kioni were never re-elected, only for him to remain with people like kina Ichung'wa and kina Ndindi, if I'm just to mention but a few. And the main reason as to why he deployed such a strategy is simply because he wanted to remain with people like kina Kimani Ichung'wa, to whom they will never question him, and whenever he spoke, or for example, whenever he asked or said, Kimani jump, then Kimani would automatically ask, how high, sir? But from where he sits, that was a very good strategy of him winning the election. But the dangers of such a strategy is that he was left with people to whom cannot question any move or motive that he plans or puts into action, and even in a scenario where the country could be sinking, the same individuals within his circle cannot question him or tell him exactly of how things bad they are. And that is exactly how the June 25th, 2024 demonstrations caught him off guard and unaware, because it was all in the public purview that people kept on lamenting the reintroduction of the 2024 finance bill, of which Kenyans across the political divide had rejected the bill in its totality. But guess what? Kina Kimani Ichung'wa were the ones leading from the front that the Gen Z demonstrations were people to whom will come with taxis, get into KFC, eat some chicken, then come out with their iPhones to start recording, of which those were totally misleading statements to the president, and we all witnessed how bad it was. But again, all said and done, President William Samoei Ruto should not in any way try any method of changing the constitution so that he can continue staying in power. And if by any chance he does that, I kid you not, I believe with how Kenyans are angry with the Kenya Kwanza government, I kid you not, it's gonna be messy, noisy, and it is going to have casualties, of which, from where I sit, I strongly believe it is going to be more worst than the June 25th demonstrations. But from where I sit, that has just been my opinion. If you do have a contrary opinion to mine, you can as well. Feel free to drop them in the comment section and I'll give them a right of reply. Thank you, and may God bless you.